they going with the crown. They ain't making noise, but they all so loud. Some of y'all only do it for the clout. If you on that time, get away right now. All of these things in my life, went through the struggle, but I feel like I can still make it. Wanna let my name with.
Welcome back to another episode of the Always Climbing Project. It's your boy Joe and your boy Big Bro Bryce. Today we got a very special guest, but as always, about to kick it off with our climber of the week. Prosper, you got somebody?
Yeah, definitely. The climber of the week for me, I want to give a good shout out to my boy Jerome Baker. He's a middle linebacker for the Miami Dolphins, and he's just he's an Ohio native too.
Cleveland, yes sir.
Cleveland, we've been working with each other for some time, and he's been doing this thing and staying loyal to the process and making sure he's handling business. Other game, he just got a nice little pick six against Philly, you know what I mean? So everything is coming into work, he's doing his thing. So
that's awesome, man. Shout out to Jerome Baker, man, one of Cleveland's finest. Hey, before we get to Bryce real quick, Prosper, can you fix your lighting a little bit real quick?
Yeah, for sure. I think
for sure.
When
it was just good just a second ago. I wasn't sure if something went out.
This is like my boy getting flamed, man. Can't have my boy getting flamed on the podcast. Cause that's what's right. We're gonna have some high schoolers watching you, man, and all they're gonna see is your teeth, man. I can't.
You good. That's better. A lot better. All right. Bryce, you got one?
Yes. Man, so a couple episodes ago, if you have been watching or listening consistently, you know that D. Allen divorce was on because, or he was our climber of the week because he was being endorsed or whatever the right word is for the Navy, getting ranked up, and then also joining this Admiral program where he can go and get free college and travel just a little bit, if I know correctly. Only the top of the top guys get that privilege and that type of reputation. Truly, from my knowledge, it's really the top of the top. And after reading his letter of recommendation, somebody like the dude that recommended him literally said, of my 25 years of being in the Navy, I've never seen nobody like this dude. So when I read that, I'm like, yeah, he climber of the week. So that was a couple weeks ago. Now we just found out he got accepted into the program, which is unheard of at our age, at the age of 26. It's unheard of to achieve such a great feat in the Navy. So he's by far definitely my climber of the week, man. So congratulations to D. Allen. At this point, bro, I think it's due. I think it's due for us to get him on the podcast again, man, because he probably got so much more knowledge and so many gems for us, man. We call him Prosper. You don't know him, but we call him like a corny Eric Thomas. He be trying to inspire us with all these different quotes, man. But it's always good love, man. So congrats to him.
Man, shout out D. Allen, man. That's awesome. That's like you said, a tremendous accomplishment. As we get into the show, please like, comment, subscribe to the Always Climbing Projects. But now to our guest, one of Jersey's finest. I should put some respect on his name. He's not Prosper Mekoba. He's Dr. Mekoba. Dr. Prosper Mekoba. I think he's our first doctor on the show. I want you to, of course, dig into that. And you got a lot of great knowledge to share to our audience and to our youth. But Prosper, can you go into first your upbringing?
Yeah, definitely. So as you said, you already, gave me a smooth introduction. I appreciate it. My name is, Dr. Prosper Mekoba. Normally people, know me as Prosper, just finished school. So born in New Jersey, had an upbringing from two immigrant parents. My background, I'm from Nigeria. My parents came over to this country, for better opportunity, better life. So grew up in New Jersey. After growing up in New Jersey a little bit, then moved to North Carolina, then back to Jersey, experienced a little bit of, some hardships here and there. But then after New Jersey, then back to North Carolina, then back to Jersey, I found myself, connecting with you in Philly, and that's when, went ahead and did, went to Temple, played football there for a little bit and stuff. And then Now I've been settling in Florida for about the past 4 years now. So
Yeah.
it's been cool.
Yep. And so just for all this, me and Prosper played at Temple together throughout Temple's best run, honestly.
Yeah.
10-win season. I was about to look at Bryce. I can't really because I think about Toledo every time
Yeah.
from the Boca game. But
Yeah.
we had a lot of great times. And you're genuinely one of the most thorough and down-to-earth people I met, and that's on the team. And definitely been solid even to this day. Just going to your athletic upbringing, and I know pivoting to like your fitness journey, and you were extremely disciplined as a player too, and off the field with your academics. Can you go into a little bit about where that discipline comes from and some of your athletic beginnings and how it kind of transitioned you into your fitness journey?
Yeah, definitely. So I would say as far as my athletic upbringing and as far as my athletic upbringing and my academic upbringing, I would say I always knew that if you play in the game, everybody wants to make it to the next level. You know what I mean? Whether if you think you can make it or not. But I did take that academic component very seriously because I knew that even if after the fact, let's say I played 10 years, I still wanted to do something. And I didn't want to be that guy if I played those 10 years that's like, oh, yeah, like, okay, you're just a guy that played the NFL, you got some money, like, okay, cool. And now you're just sitting back doing nothing, you know? Um, Education is really, really important in my household and my family. You know, in the Nigerian community, sometimes like it's like you don't even get a meal if you don't get an A on a test. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so that was really important, and they were just my parents really harped on the fact that you got to make sure that school is together, and you got to make sure you find a good job and stuff. So growing up, if you listening to your parents, even if most of the time, let's say some things you may not agree with, when it comes down to them saying education is the only way, and then them completely saying that, you start to really, really start to see a lot of the value in making sure that you're an educated man in this world. So I made sure, okay, if I'm gonna go to school and play football, yes, I'm gonna do this football thing. I'm gonna make sure I do it right and do it to the best of my ability. But at the same time, I'm gonna try my best to get what I need in the classroom in order to, if this don't work out, boom, I got my next, like I got my next route that I can go down and then hopefully make my way back to, potentially sports where I ultimately love. So
For sure, no doubt. And then your fitness journey. I remember, during I don't know if it was during right before COVID or during COVID, I started seeing you do a bunch of different plans for people and working out with people. I'm like, bro, what is Prosper up to? And then I seen you at House of Athletes, and then I think you lived with Bomberitos for a little bit, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So I used to train out in Bomberitos during my draft prep. And so
Right.
I'm like, oh shoot, like Prosper really doing it as far as like the fitness coaching. Like how did that come about? Because what was your undergrad?
So my undergrad was in kinesiology,
Okay.
pre-health professions. So originally, I wanted to go to school for physical therapy,
Yep.
and but then I ended up pivoting, just because I wanted to be a little bit different and go the chiropractic route. I met a couple chiropractors that inspired me, so I moved through that route. But as far as like my fitness journey, I always wanted to, take care of myself, take care of my body, make sure everything was right and taken care of, and then, fast forward from that, also ended up going to school. I started having a little bit of an epiphany where like, okay, like I can start joining the fitness, the sports, and the medical world and meshing them all together. So
Mm-hmm.
so that's pretty much a lot of the things that they started intertwining, like my background of me used to playing sports and then learning medical and then also being a trainer and a coach and stuff like that. I started seeing, what, maybe I can do a lot. I can do a lot more with this than just, than just the training people and just the medical side. I can bring all three of them together. So,
Yeah, absolutely. I know my boy Bryce is also getting into the realm of training and fitness coaching. I
Okay.
wanted to know, this is a question for me and of course for Bryce too. What was that? What was it like to adapt to different sports? Because you work with a lot of different sports now. I seen you work with an MMA fighter the other day. I seen you work with baseball, football, and just regular normal human beings. How was it first shifting your philosophy as in fitness, and then shifting into what they need and probably and not even having a background in that sport? Like, what did that look like? And how much what was the education like as far as that period? If that makes sense for you.
100% for sure. I would say, in my opinion, um, when you, no matter in what, and no matter what you end up going to get your degree in, I strongly say it. I'm not saying that we're better. The athletes usually have a leg up in when they go back to get their education.
Yep.
Just the mindset, the understanding, different things like that. A lot of my classmates didn't really, they couldn't really connect with sports, but everybody wants to be around it because it's very flashy, and it's everywhere, and it's on TV, ESPN. So um me, I just kind of worked on what I knew, which was football. Football is what I knew. I've been a football player. I started playing in high school, and okay, at least I understood that sport. Then you kind of move on to the next sport, let's say basketball, and see how, okay, like they're somewhat a little bit related. Okay, maybe you need a little bit more, work in this area, upper body as opposed to lower body. Okay, some things are a little bit the same. And then you move on to MMA, and then a lot of those guys, okay, some of them need a lot of footwork, conditioning, a lot of different functional movement and things like that. So I started really paying attention and studying my patients and my clients, and started, becoming more of a student of the game, and really, really understanding the small, intricate type of movements and what the body needs, and really started harping on that small aspect of recovery that some people don't really look at as much. So that was an important part for me. And that's what ultimately led me to, okay, look, I'm gonna go ahead and start learning all these different avenues of sports, and then start to, okay, as a fighter, this is what you need. Like this is your Magna Carta. Like this is what you need. As a football player, this is what you need. As a basketball player, this is what you need. But then as an individual, we go ahead and we tailor it down to your individual needs. And then kind
Yeah.
of like we branch out from there. So that's how it's been.
Yeah. And we had a guest before who was also a trainer, talk about the importance of training your body to be almost as what you would want your clients to look as,
Hmm.
like have that physique, have that you look like a trainer, that you know what you're doing, right? And I
Hmm.
remember I was listening to one of another podcast that you were on, and you were talking about the attraction of your physique and how you look and how that kind of helped you gain clients.
Hmm.
I think this was a podcast you did a couple years ago.
Dang, you remember that?
Listen, man, I gotta do my research for my guests to come on now. I gotta know these things. And
Yeah.
so I was just curious can you speak on that a little bit? Because Bryce, he did a video on his fitness journey that got us like 80,000 views or something like that. Like it was crazy. And this was
Right.
like early on when we started our YouTube channel. And I know
Right.
Bryce is like, man, should I go back and give the people what they want? And we be
They
like,
begging,
yes, like
man. They
what you
was
waiting
begging,
for?
man. They was
Like
begging,
what you
Right.
man.
waiting for? Like, and this is
I
a
didn't
guy
listen though.
also,
I didn't
and
listen.
just like you, Prosper, like you lost a lot of body fat, but he lost a lot of like body fat and lost a lot of weight. From he played at Toledo with 300 pounds. Now he's
Right.
walking around like 230, 220. If you have a donut, 240. But
Right.
like,
Never. I'm 220 with a donut. I'm 230.
but you know what I'm saying. But and he's having people wanting to work with him and reach out to listen to him, to his advice, because
Right.
he knows what he's doing. He's shown what he's doing.
Right.
How much of an impact have that had even to this day? Can you speak on that a little bit?
I would say to this day, even if it's within the medical field, or if it's within health and wellness is pretty much also medical field. But if it's in the medical field or the fitness industry, looking apart is, your biggest, that's your biggest marketing tool. If you're the one who comes in, like people come in, I'm in my office right now, people come to this table, and then immediately when they walk in and then they see me looking kind of, they're like, oh yeah, like he about to crack me up. Like, he's about to get me right. So, but I may not even know how to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I may not even really have the technique. It's really all about technique. And then after that, strength kind of helps and come in when you're working with, like, the football players and the athletes and the big guys and stuff. But looking apart definitely is your number one biggest attribute when it comes to, selling yourself as a fitness, influencer, as pretty much as a practitioner. It's pretty much the number one thing that you want to make sure you keep intact. And then also on top of that, if you walk in and you see like a doctor and he got his hair all, messed up, and his shirt looking all untucked and like his buttons ain't together and he's wearing flip-flops, you kind of look and question him like, I don't know if I trust you, touch my body. So I make sure I'm continuously, working out, treating my body right, trying my best to eat well. I'm working out maybe around at least like 4 to 5 days a week, preaching proper nutrition to my patients, making sure that they're doing their correct exercise at home and stuff. And, I'm also doing the same thing, walking the walk, and I document that sometimes through social media so they can see, look, I'm not just giving it, I'm living it.
So I plan on doing that. And so this podcast season is not as professional. So can we like kind of speed through like 3 topics that I want to discuss real quick?
Of course, go ahead.
Can y'all flow with me?
Yeah.
First and foremost, all right, I gotta ask you, because it's gonna be complete different topics, but first and foremost. So if I was to buy into these people, man, I'm talking about hundreds of comments. They was like, please don't stop. One person said, please don't make this a one hit type video. Like, continue to post these. And I didn't, right? It was a year ago. But I want to kind of get back into it because for multiple reasons, but mainly because I see a need in a lot of people close to me. They need somebody to be there for them. I'm not certified or nothing like that, so I don't necessarily plan on like turning it into a whole business. But just for my little community and even maybe my YouTube community, I do want to be a resource for them. Because I know a lot. I just don't have I don't have the educational words for the things that I know work. So with that being said, if I was to check in on people, if I was to do that type of thing and create some type of train where people can really get on board and work on their fitness and nutrition, how do you keep up with managing your clients? How do you keep up with the ability to call them and check on them and make sure they're doing their workouts without losing your mind? Because I'm running a whole nonprofit. I'm a school counselor by day, running a nonprofit by night. That's the one thing that held me back a year ago, and I'm tired of letting it hold me back. Because I'm not really an excuse maker. It's kind of from football, like you said. I just want to make sure I do it the right way. So I'd love to hear what you got to say about that.
Yeah, definitely. It makes it a lot easier when I'm talking to a patient or a client. I'm telling them, like, one of the first questions I usually ask them is how much is your life worth? And then they'll sit there and they'll be like, it ain't worth nothing. It's priceless. Okay. Well, then in this case, why are you putting a set price on your life? You're putting a set price on your life when it comes to everything. Like, you're not holding yourself accountable. You're not looking to, go and get the products that I'm telling you to get in order to get yourself better. You're not looking to spend the money and stuff like that. So you need to start pushing yourself to understand that my life is priceless. So I have to treat it that way. So then the next follow-up question is, when are you going to commit to yourself and tell yourself that your life is priceless? you know? So at that point, I'm telling them this, okay, if you really care about yourself, and you really feel like, all right, I want to take this to the next level. If you want me to commit to you, you also have to commit to yourself. All right. So let's sit down and talk about this. Give me one day that you know that you can dedicate to me. All right. I'm free on Wednesdays. I'm free on Thursdays. All right, done. Let's do it. Let me look at my schedule. All right. So on Wednesdays at this time, this is our time. Wednesdays at 7 p.m., this is our time. I call you on the phone. We check in. How's your nutrition going? How many days a week did you work out? Did you get your massage that I told you to get? Did you go to the gym? Did you stretch? Did you do those type of things? And staying on that set schedule kind of helps you stay a little bit organized, and it helps that patient stay accountable because they know that every single on Wednesday or Thursday at 7 p.m. Okay, like I know I'm gonna check back in. You know, I'm gonna check back in and make sure like all right, everything is cool. And Bryce is making sure like he needs to he's doing what he has to do in order to like take care of me, and I got to make sure I'm taking care of myself and doing everything I need to do in order to make sure that that we meet our goals. So that's number one: finding a set time and a set day that is y'all time, you and the client, one on one, and make sure they stay committed to it. Okay, next week if they don't show up, man, you're not committed. You ain't trying to do this. You know, you're not trying to, because I told you out of all those days, like this is our time. All right, I want to go ahead and start building a little bit more. All right, cool. That's fine. All right, so give me another day. Monday's cool. Monday at 5. All right, I'll go ahead and maybe check my schedule. That doesn't work. How about let's push it to Monday at 6:30? All right, that's cool. So now you have those times that's already documented in the calendar, that Monday at 6:30 and then Thursday at 7. Those are the times that we hold each other accountable. We check in on each other. And I feel like that's important in order to build the structure and the foundation in that client's life in order to get them to where they need to be, So because then when it's like, all right, well, I'll just hit you up whenever and just reach out to me whenever you need help. That's kind of when you're leaving a little bit of room for them to slip through that crack. And then all of a sudden it's just like, well, I didn't get time to it and you didn't get time to it. So, whatever, I just don't really talk to them no more. So I think that's really, important, because in the back of their mind, they're like, yeah, Bryce is counting on me, man. Like, I can't let him down. I know that I committed to myself and I committed to him, and he's committed his time. His time is valuable. So on these days, we're going to make sure everything is taken care of. So I feel like making sure the patient is committed to themselves and committed to you and committed to their journey, and committing at least a set time that y'all can both find, within that week. This is our time. And this is when we make sure we get right. We plan everything out for the entire week and make sure everything's going good. And we do these weekly check-ins. So
you have them check in. All right, they're consistent. They come in every week, but they ain't doing what you tell them to do. What do you say to them?
So at that point, if they're not really doing what I'm telling them to do, then it's like, okay, well, what's making you not do these workouts that I'm giving you? What's making you not do these stretches I'm giving you? Oh, well, I feel as though, I'm just a little bit tired and stuff like that. And then at that point, you kind of just tell them, hey, look, if you're tired and you feel as though you can't really get it done because you don't want to do it, then you also have to think that at that point, you truly don't want to get to that end goal that you are trying to get to, This is how you revert back to the old you. You've made a little bit of progress, or if you made no progress, at this point, you're going to continue to keep being this person, to the end, or you're going to change. There's one of the two, you either break down or you break through. And that's pretty much just what it is, So at that point, I kind of tell them that, you're not committed. Hey, at the end of the day, I want you to understand I care about you, but if you're not committed, I'm wasting my time and you're wasting yours. So what you need to do is respectfully, just go about your business and keep living your life and then come back when you are committed, and I respect if you have other stuff going on. And I completely feel as though, all right, if it is what it is and you can't really do it, that's fine. But if it's just off of the fact that you don't want to get it done, then you're not truly committed, and you're going to continue to keep being this person that you don't want to be as long as you're going to be,
Yeah. Word, man, word. Now listen, hold on, Joe. I told you
I had a follow up.
What, man?
Don't lose the thought, bro. I got a question though, because like you talk about like the people that like are probably not as committed, but how easy is it to just be like, man, I'm about to just tell you this lesson plan, like this workout plan, and just do it on your like when you see fit, or that whatever routine I have for you, knowing that they're probably gonna break it. How easy for it to do that, or do you morally just say like, I can't even work with you?
So you said how easy is it for me to just send them a plan and then just
take the money and just be like, listen, I'm just gonna give them this plan if they can't set the exact time to work with me.
So I mean, that's the easiest part, I mean,
yeah,
because that's just you still got to make the plan, and after you make the plan, it's just a click of a button. You send the plan, you take the money, and then that's pretty much it. But usually, in order for me, like one of my buddies that I work with was literally just saying, results is money, in whatever way how you want to talk about it. Results is money. So if I'm trying to invest in myself and build myself and also build up this person too, I want to some kind of way hold them accountable. So I give them recommendations on how often I think they should do it. And if they derail off of the plan, how to ease their way back into it, But I tell them that the plan is not effective and you're wasting your money if you are not doing it the way how it's written. It says work out 4 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Thursday, Friday. If you don't do that, then you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. And you just,
I be trying to tell my high school athletes that all the time. I coach O-line now at a high school, man. And I tell them that all the time. So you just hit it on the head. That just stuck something with me, man. I'll be telling them that too, because I run the strength program. They doing 2 sets. I put 4 sets of 8. They put doing 2 sets of 8. They're like, Coach Harris, I ain't getting no stronger. I'm like, I'm saying you're not doing what the program says for you to do. Right. It's all designed for a reason.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a science behind it. It's a structure behind it. You get it done. Like you got to think about it. Just them doing 2 sets instead of 4 sets, like they're leaving 50% off the table.
Mm-hmm.
And if you add that extra 50%, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, $50 and $100 are two different. That's 2 different prices right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna say that to them too.
Yeah, So benching 200 versus the strong high schooler who's benching 400. Like he's doing all his reps. So I mean, it's just pretty much how bad you want it.
Period. Mm-hmm. Now we going back. We about to switch topics. I had a low back problem in college. One time, not like a chronic thing. One time, and my boy, he in the NFL right now. My boy, Big V, Vitaly Gurman, big lineman, man. So me and him, he was my right guard or my right tackle, and he was like, Bryce, you dealing with that back, man? You need to just come with me to this chiropractor one time. Man, I went to that chiropractor. I said, bro, V, don't ever take me nowhere like this again. And I'm never coming to no chiropractor ever again. Tell me your opinion on that statement.
I mean, you know what? I'm going to say that statement isn't wrong. It's not wrong, depending on the type of chiropractor you went to.
So I'll tell you now, it was one of them commercial joints. It's called The Joint. I don't know if it's nationwide. He took me to The Joint. And they signed me up for the monthly subscription. I forgot about it, man. They charged me 2 months straight. I said, man, I'm never going back.
Listen,
Oh
man.
man.
I mean, it's funny you say that because even currently now, I still kind of, I still kind of do a little bit of like emergency work for the joint. Very rarely, like they'll give me a call if I'm super available. So I know all about the joints, model. Like you come in once a week, $79, all that.
Yeah.
But and then you come in, there's all the tables there, people you just lay down, you in and you out. Honestly speaking, for it works for those people who just want to come in and just get that slight bit of relief and that little pop, that crack. Oh dang, I just need my neck cracked real quick because I have a crick in my neck, and then that's it. But for guys like you, guys like us who are very active, who guys like us who are very active, like we're really, really at the peak of activity. We're we're strong. We have a lot of muscle tissue, things like that. We need to stay as far as away from the joint as possible, because it won't do us any justice. It's a disservice to us because there's so much more in treatment as opposed to just someone getting a quick adjustment and calling it a day, like you have to look at the tone of the tissue and then, the gait, how you walking, the posture imbalance, the pressure within different areas of the joint, you got to look at functional movement. Is the joint moving functionally? How's your hip moving? How's your knee moving? How's your lower back? How are you sitting? You got to look at all those things. When in the joint, you crack. All right, Bryce, we'll see you next week.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
That's what they do.
They said, I'll
So
see you next week. And I said, okay. Yeah, all right. Then
yeah,
I go.
exactly. So you saying that, honestly speaking, I don't think it's wrong. Um, if you would have went to a more sports oriented chiropractor, I think your idea of chiropractic would have been completely different.
That's fair, man. That's a fair statement.
You know,
I can accept that because everything you just said makes sense.
yeah, because again, working with guys like just throwing him out there again, working with a guy like Jerome Baker, you know, he he was working with this chiropractor, just keep the name on the low and stuff. So he was working with a certain chiropractor. And then when I was, working with him and treating him and stuff, then Jerome is saying he's like, whoa, he's like, I like, dang, like I ain't know you could do all that. Like the whole time I'm getting an adjustment by this dude, and you got the real ish right here, like. And then he started coming back well, I started going to him consistently. We work with each other on a weekly basis, but that's because I tailor my treatment to the athlete and work on those small little aspects of the game to elevate his performance,
Mhm.
and I feel like the depending on the patient and depending on the severity of the issue and how complex it is and what they're looking for, the chiropractor may not be a fit for that patient, and vice versa. The patient may not be a good fit for the chiropractor. So I completely understand where you're coming from. You're not wrong. But I tell you, if you would have came and saw me, bro, like I would have got you. You would have been coming back, bro.
Say less.
For sure.
I'll take your word on that, man. I'll take your word on that because I just had to ask. Once I found out you was a chiropractor, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna ask you now. I need to know because every time I hear that word, I'm just like, I'm cool. I
Yeah.
ain't like the experience. But my back, and that's the thing, my back, obviously, he hit me with the whole, you got to come, all 4 weeks for it to actually feel better. So after the first time, I'm like, man, I thought my back was gonna feel great, and it didn't. So that was a bad taste in my mouth too. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
got you,
Eh,
Jovan, man. It's back to you, man. It's back to you.
Yeah. No, just going on the chiropractor stuff, like, bro, we were fortunate enough to have like Lenny and a bunch of chiropractors coming through. Like, and I remember I was going to do draft prep, and this was like when COVID hit. Like, no, this is right before COVID. I went to Lenny, and he did like the X-rays on my back, like, my neck and my back. And he was like, "You see all this and everything? I got to fix this and that." I'm thinking like y'all just fill it out and just know whatever. But like it's so much detail that goes into it. I'm like, bro, like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's gonna sound like crazy. Not saying I didn't know y'all are doctors, but like
Yeah.
I didn't know like to the detail like of like how much y'all like get into it. Like I know y'all gotta know everything about the back, but like the actual like the gate, the wall, like I thought it was just like your neck and back, my neck and my
Listen,
back. I was like, yo.
listen, man, like I had to learn every single joint in the body, every single muscle in the body, every single vein, every single artery, every single nerve in the body. And then even
Mhm.
going to that, like there's multiple different like, conditions that we have to know that's associated um with these type of things. Like, for instance, I have to know about all the different types of cancers, ectopic pregnancies, things like that, female
Like
reproductive
that
system.
stuff.
Yeah,
That's what I'm like, what?
and you know what? Because a lot of times, and people don't understand this, a lot of times when people come in, like a female, she's 21, 22 years old, she's coming in with back pain or she's coming in with hip pain, and she's like, man, like I need to go see my chiropractor, I need to go see my chiropractor. When you take a thorough history and you start asking her, like, hey, look, so question, are you sexually active? Yeah, I am. When was the last time you had your period? Oh, like it's been like, a little bit of a while. Okay. Like, where are you feeling the pain? It's like a sharp pain in here. It radiates a little bit. Then at that point, you're like, you know what? You use your doctor skills, like your practitioner skills, as this could potentially be ectopic pregnancy, or it could possibly be ovarian cyst, like small
Yep.
different things. Like it could be PCOS, endometriosis. You never really know. But there's different types of pathologies that have to do with back pain, hip pain, leg pain, abdominal pain that people come into the chiropractor for, and then we end up saving their life. But that's why we kind of get into it as much as we can. Can we do anything about it in the current moment? No. But we can refer it down the street to the doctor, to the other primary care physician, or orthopedic, OBGYN, so they can get it treated.
Yep. And then just quickly transition into your experience at Palmer College, right? That's where you got your doctorate from, right?
Yeah.
Down in South Florida.
Well, it's in like Daytona Beach.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, can you discuss that transition? And then I know you said you pivoted from want to be an athletic trainer to what you are now, a chiropractor. Can you talk about that transition and then some of the trials and tribulations, the trying times you had throughout that process? That's a pretty big jump coming from Philadelphia or wherever you were in Jersey at the time, then going to Florida. I'd love to hear more about that story and how that was going for you.
Yeah, definitely. So, around the time, like this was right before you came in, like, that spring ball, when I was playing at Temple, man, like them dudes was beating me up. You know what I mean? Like I was getting, like getting beat up, tossed and everything. I was feeling neck pain, back pain. And at this point, I was just like, I wanted to go to school to be a physical therapist, but at this point, I was like, you know what? I need to go see a chiropractor because my body's hurting. Well, actually, I didn't say that. I was saying my neck is hurting, my back is hurting, and like I'm feeling all this pain. And then people kept referring to go see a chiropractor. And I was like, I don't know nothing about it. Never been to a chiropractor, didn't know anything. So pretty much the summer of my freshman year in college, I went to go see a chiropractor, and I started seeing, like I said, I wanted to be successful. And every time I would go to the chiropractor, either my mom would drop me off, I walk there, I would see, okay, there's like he got a nice car, you know what I'm saying, here and stuff like that. All right, cool. I bet. Like, so this could be a profession I can end up getting into. So I started looking into it a little bit more, had some guest speakers come to Temple, and one of them, kind of like really rubbed me the right way. So I went to school. Only trials and tribulations mainly trials and tribulations I would say is being a student athlete. And hey, I mean, I don't mind saying it, but also being an African American, a male too, was kind of tough because I was the only black man in my class cohort out of 70. So sometimes they looked at me as like, oh, he's just an athlete that's in here, or like, maybe he might not know anything. And I didn't have my sense of community like you and my, because all I was around was athletes,
Yeah.
so I didn't really, that was kind of tough, being around that crowd and stuff. But I just, did my thing, persevered, pushed myself as hard as I could in order to become that guy, and came out on top.
For sure, for sure.
Say that, man. I got two comments. First off, fun fact, I went to school to study kinesiology as well.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
after my first semester, I said, absolutely not. So now I'm a school counselor. My first passion was, the reason I chose kinesiology was to become a physical therapist so I could work with children. And I wanted to make an impact on kids from an athletic standpoint. And then I didn't have a passion for the sciences. I really just didn't. So my grades reflected that. I'm always a above 3.0 student, but once I made that transition, I went from 2.9, 3.0 in college to a 3.8 or above every grading period and semester. So studying psychology in my undergrad and then getting my counseling master's was probably the best decision I made instead of chasing money. Because now I'm able to make a pretty good living and a lot of money, to be honest, depending on the
Right.
situation. Just because I love it, you know what I mean? I made something out of what I love to do. But just a fun fact, man, I studied kinesiology and switched out as well. And then I forget my other comment. You had mentioned something. Oh, and then another thing that I could relate to, man, is in my master's program, I was the only Black male as well. And being the only Black male, aside from that, there was only one other Black person in the cohort of like 80. So very similar story, man. And I could definitely relate to what that feels like to be looked at as an athlete, to be looked at as the only Black male, because in a counselor world, it was dominated by women as well. So there was a few men, but they weren't Black. And it definitely is a unique experience to kind of be that fly in a glass of milk, if you will. For sure.
Yeah.
Ooh, damn, that's deep.
Prosper, I don't even know if you remember this. When I came to Temple, I was also a kinesiology major when I first came in.
Yeah.
And it was you, Champ, Ventel, and I remember we were talking about it. And this was random. I remember this conversation because this is what made me switch. We were talking about it, and I remember I had to take anatomy, and you had to take anatomy in the summer the way that the schedule came out because of the more an afternoon class. I think if you took it in the spring, and I remember it was either you or Champ, and we were talking, and he was like, "Yeah, bro, you gotta do the morning workouts." No, it was available, but you couldn't do the afternoon workouts. And you had to do the morning workouts alone with Coach Rule. And I was like, "No." That's what made me switch out. It wasn't even
you switch, bro.
It was not even a program, bro.
Wow.
But like it was just literally just like, bro, I'm not working out with that because he's you Prosper,
Yeah.
Working out with him one-on-one is not ideal.
You don't want.
But I have so many kids that I work with now, and I just tell them, when they come in, they everybody want to do business or they want to do nursing or something like that, and I'm just telling them like, yo, just like find your purpose, find what you want to do in life, and what you're interested in, because there's quite a few kids that end up chasing money. There's people that chase money and ended up switching out when it's too late, or when they already have that degree and it's like, man, I don't even want to do that no more. So now
miserable,
you miserable, and now you have a full scholarship for a degree that you're not even going to use anymore. So now you've been used by the system now, and having to backtrack and go backwards. And it's going to be a time where everybody has to pivot. But for the viewers out there that are going through that transitional period, or that are trying to figure out what is their purpose in life, you don't have to figure it out right away. Like whenever you have the most pressure on you or feel like you have to do something right away is when you make the worst decisions.
Right.
And so actually taking the time to take a deep breath and just fall on your faith, if if you believe in God, whatever you believe in, and really lean into that and actually take the time to listen to him and go about your process that way for what he has set for you, instead of trying to develop your own, is really where you're going to find your way to go.
For sure, definitely. I mean, and one quick thing for the viewers out there, I'm telling you, like a lot of people were skeptical about me being a chiropractor because in most cases, when things are a little bit unfamiliar, you don't know people that do it, you tend to kind of shy away from it and stuff. Listen, I love what I do. I make good money, and I'm working with a population that I would do it for free. You know, and it goes to show at the end of the day, if you're good at what you do and you're passionate about it, you will make money.
Mm.
Period.
Say it
You
again,
will
man.
you will make money. I'm telling you. I almost literally went through the same thing back like earlier this year when I was like I had my landlord that so happened to be a chiropractor and he was extremely successful and he offered me a job and it was the most money I was going to make at the time and I was like, "Oh, I need this money, I need this money, I need this money." But then at the time um like I sat down with a friend. I was like, I don't know what to do. And he said, you know what? Look, the money's gonna come. You know what? Just go ahead and do what you love to do. I mean, yeah, like you want to make money now, but at the end of the day, just go follow your passion. The money will come eventually. And because you may end up where you're at, and let's say you are working, you're making money. After you sit down and make the money, then it'll be like, then what? You know? It's like, I mean, I got all this money. Like, what am I going to do now? You know? So,
Yeah,
so that's important.
definitely. And I think you did a great job of answering this question, the one I'm about to ask you to follow up, which is, what would you tell a 17-year-old Prosper? What would you tell a young Prosper that's about to enter Temple University? What advice would you give him? Maybe it could be something similar to what you just said because it was well said. But what else would you add to that?
Yeah, I mean, what else I would add is I would say, at the end of the day, definitely it may sound cliche, but don't change, for anybody, because a lot of times you're gonna see this person and see that person and be like, oh, I may want to do that, I may want to do this, stick to your path. You are who you are. You like what you like. Continue to grow and learn and meet many different people, network as much as you can, and harp on what it is that you absolutely feel like, okay, like this is what I like to do. And then ride that until you absolutely don't love it anymore. Like, all right, I'm not interested in this because that that's a snowball, it's a small one, and then it slowly turns into that small bit of hope that turns into like this big bit of success, So like find what it is that you love and find what it is that you really, really passionate about. Keep doing it and just don't let anybody gear your mind towards anything else, Like it's
No
okay,
doubt.
it's cool to make mistakes. You're gonna be good.
Absolutely. Now, before we get into these takeaways, we always do a 30-second takeaway before we close out the show. But the last question I have for you is I see your brand. I love the way you're branding yourself on social media. Super professional, building up the clientele, and your network is tremendous. Where do you see yourself a year from now? And then what is your long-term plans?
So a year from now, I definitely see myself growing, expanding my clientele with professional athletes, more so in the NFL, branching out also into the NBA as well too, MLB. I see myself continue to work with the college and universities. Like right now, I'm currently working as one of the team practitioners of FAU football. So FAU athletics. So, I'm working with them and stuff, and that's great. So I see myself to continue to build up the sports medicine world and at the same time, general population. And then long term, 5 years from now, I plan on, hopefully, or, opening up my practice or partnering to, get a practice. And at some point, building multi-purpose medical facilities and sports facilities and giving people, which are athletes and the general population, the athletic medical experience.
Hey man,
Yeah,
if you
you
want
heard
one
it. It's
in
gonna
Akron,
happen.
if you want one in Akron, and at that time and situation seem right, we got a spot right around the corner from my crib. Me and Jovan been talking about it. We trying to
We
turn it into some type of super gym. Hey man,
we
could-
working on something.
Hey,
collab.
hey, man. Hey, man. Let's make it happen. You know, we'll branch out everywhere.
I
The
love
culture
it.
needs it. The culture needs it.
They need
But yeah, I think that, I mean, that plan that you have set for yourself is going to happen. I know it's going to happen. And before we close out, I always, before we get to our takeaways, I just want to say how grateful I am for you to join our show. Appreciative of having you. I'm really excited to, of course, follow up with you after. Are you still doing fitness coaching, like the fitness stuff for people? You don't sell no plans on the side.
I don't, but if anybody's interested in the plan, just hit me up. I'll take care of you. If you ever need anything, or
Gotcha.
maybe if you ever need a plan, this is a brotherhood what we got going on here. So y'all always good,
For sure.
But anybody
I know
else
Bryce.
watch?
Jovan need a plan.
I do need a new plan. It's crazy. I've been following, just transparency. I've been following my old Chiefs plan.
Mhm.
And bro, I was hooping the other day. I'm done squatting, bro. I'm tired of squatting, yo.
Yeah,
I'm tired. I love deadlifting. I'll do leg press. I'll do all that. I'll do the lunges. Cool. But man, I'm tired of putting weight on my back, bro.
I feel that.
I love squat.
Yeah.
I know
I
you do.
love
So Prosper, I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
Takeaways, 30-second takeaways, guys. Who want to go first?
I'll go. Hey man, my takeaway from this message, man, is don't get pimped. I think what you said, Jovan, really resonated with me, man. That's what one of our coaches at Toledo always said. Don't get pimped. If you have an opportunity in front of you that is either free or some type of benefit to you, don't let it take advantage of you unless you take advantage of it as well. So in a college athlete situation, you got a full ride scholarship. And we all, I know y'all two do. I know for a fact I do as well. We all know somebody, if not a handful of guys, that picked the easiest major and blew away hundreds of thousands of dollars, whether it's food, gear, clothes, a room and board, and tuition. They blew it. Now they literally are not doing anything. I know some managers at Walmart, nothing against that. But if you had this opportunity to get any degree, you are now a manager at Walmart, don't get pimped. Because that guy right there that I'm talking about got pimped. Don't let it happen to you. That's my takeaway.
And then I'm gonna give a takeaway, and it's more so highlighting Prosper because he was being real humble on this show. This is a guy who at Temple with a D tackle worked extremely hard, one of the hardest workers on the team, on and off the field, committed to kinesiology, that major, and how crazy hard that was, and really was dedicated to his craft and really showed a lot of discipline to get to where he is now, to the point where I know seeing people seeing him do all these things on social media and the things that's not even seen on social media, it's like mind blowing. It's like, yo, Prosper doing this and that. But this is a guy who always networked, always made himself remembered in any room that he was in. Bryce, we talk about walking around like people already know you. He did it like no other when we went to like Hours on Wall Street and things like that. And people like, it was so like, I didn't know if people were annoyed with Prosper because he talks because he made sure he talked to everybody or what it was, bro. But he made sure he was known and you remembered him, and he always followed up. It was never like I'm just doing this for like an ego boost, or I'm doing this to be like the alpha male in the room. It was never anything like that. It was like the most calmest, like, hey, I just want to know you, get to know whatever, because you never know what opportunity is going to present itself. So my takeaway is more so highlighting the person of Prosper and kind of the things that I saw from afar that kind of I pulled away from. That's like, yo, this dude really is not intimidated by nothing, and just have the confidence and the wherewithal to speak his voice and really not care if I'm a starter or not, if I'm whatever I am on the totem pole or not. He's making sure like I'm Prosper Mekoba and you gonna remember me. So I think walking around with people already know you and having that voice and understand you have a voice and wearing multiple hats and knowing when to wear those hats is extremely important. That's what you did, probably one of the best on the team, and you carrying on, and now you see how successful you are and what you're doing.
So he ain't get pimped. That's what it sounds like.
He ain't get pimped.
Hey man, I listen.
He pimped the system.
I appreciate that, man. That's mad love, bro. means a lot. Listen, we gonna, you know, I hope to be back on here so we can talk about you, you know, as much as y'all talking about, you know, me. But as far as my takeaway from this, you know, piggybacking off of what you were saying and stuff, don't ever let your current, if you're not where you are or not where you want to be, don't ever let your current situation define you. um, and don't let that situation mold you into, you know, who you are. Take every step of your life and everything, you know, serious, and at the same time, like as you're going through the journey, make sure to celebrate the wins, and also make sure, you know, smell the roses when, you know, when the road ain't looking too pleasant, you know. Always look at, you know, the cup half full, you know, because, you know, if you're always looking at it half empty, you're never gonna, you know, have that positive mindset to get to where you want to be. And then going back to football and stuff, like you said, I, you know, I wanted to be a starter, and I pushed to be that guy. But at the end of the day, I knew that there was life beyond football. And I understood that even though the people may not respect me now, they'll respect me later, you know. So I got to that point where I was like, you know, it is what it is, you know. Maybe this isn't really the full 100% pick. May not be what I'm supposed to do, but I'm gonna figure out what I'm supposed to do, and I'm gonna make sure I prosper at it, you know. So,
For sure.
yeah.
Man, that's another great episode, man. Do anybody else got anything to add before I close it out, man?
Yeah, I do. Man, I always like when people talk about glass half full, but Jovan got a gym for you to take. He got the next level for you, right? I tell my kids, I give you an example. The golden rule: treat people how you want to be treated. The platinum rule is treat people how they want to be treated, regardless of how you feel, right? So Jovan got something similar to that type thing. So you talking about glass half full, but Jovan hit him with it, man, in the episode.
Yeah, man. And too many people, man, worry about if a glass half full, glass half empty. Back in the day, you just gotta be happy to have a glass.
Boom.
That's all, man. Please like, comment, subscribe, and as always, keep climbing.
And I'm surrounded by some people that I know gon' have my back. Got some shoulders I can cry on if I'm talking about my prayer. Was some times that I was being